welcome back. This time I'm going to talk about the Mediterranean diet that I'm doing. I hate calling it the Mediterranean diet because it's not really a diet. It's just a way of eating. You know, different cultures eat food in different ways. And there was actually a really good video that my neurologist introduced me to. He told me to watch it, listen to this guy. And one of the things they talk about is all the processed food and that sort of thing, and getting away from the processed and going back to more natural food, which I've been doing slowly. I still have some microwave popcorn that I'm trying to get rid of. I figured I got rid of, before I started my diet, I got rid of all the really bad foods that were bad for me. And I looked up the Mediterranean food choices. I chose that rather than doing a heavy plant diet. I cannot do vegetarian. I love meat too much. And so I knew that was not a reasonable, feasible choice for me. I have chosen, part of the Mediterranean meals is a lot of seafood, and I don't do seafood, mainly freshwater. I think it's freshwater fish, like salmon, that sort of thing. I think that's freshwater fish. I don't know, I don't eat it. Because I don't like that food at all, I just stick to chicken. So chicken is my main protein. I just try not to eat it often, and try to make sure I'm getting protein in other areas as well. One of the things that helps to envision the plan is, the food diagrams. Well, the Mediterranean one has its own food diagram. So here it is. And as you can see, there's lots of fruits and vegetables at the bottom. And then it slowly goes up and gets to your worst food, which is your red meats and your sweets. Those are supposed to be rarely eaten. So they're not saying eliminate it. They're not saying you can never have it. They're just saying rare, very rarely you get this. So I'm a very picky eater. So I did a lot of research on this because I thought, well, I'm going to have a hard time adhering to what I'm supposed to. And actually, this, as picky as an eater as I am, I'm actually going to be able to do fairly well with this. So during the week, my meals are not very regular. I don't have to cook for anybody else, so it's just me cooking for myself, which turns into a salad or, that sort of thing. I did start doing, in place of breakfast and lunch, I've been kind of doing the protein shakes, and those you have to be careful of. But I think I found one that's going to work, and there's different flavors, so I'm not going to get too bored with those. I've been doing those during the week when I'm not working, and then I work weekends. So my typical routine during a work day is, if I can make it to work without having to stop for something, great. But I get tired easily, so sometimes I do have to stop. So I stop at my McDonald's. It's not the best choice in the world, but rather than doing what I had been doing, which was the Egg McMuffin meal, so it included the hash brown and the soda, rather than doing that, if I do have to stop, I just get a smoothie. Now, it's still not the best thing in the world because It still has a lot of sugar in it. So I try not to do that if I can help it. But like I said, if I start getting tired, I pull over long enough to get one of those, and then I keep on going. It's a bit of a distance to work for me. Once I get to work, I then go to the cafeteria and I get me a 12-ounce oatmeal. I have been putting brown sugar on it. I have stopped doing that. And I'm doing just craisins, which are still not the best because there's, I think, added sugar to the craisins. And food coloring and that sort of stuff. But I do just a little bit of craisins to mix in with my oatmeal. My oatmeal is the apple cinnamon. Still not the best, but it's better than what I had been doing with the brown sugar. So I get 12 ounces of that, and then I get a small bowl of scrambled eggs, and that's my breakfast. Then I have, as another meal, a spinach salad. Mediterranean salads do not usually include leafy greens like spinach, romaine, and that sort of thing. But I do a spinach lettuce or spinach salad for my next meal, whether it's my lunch or my dinner. And I have sugar snap peas, tomatoes, shredded carrots, a little bit of sunflower seeds and pumpkin seeds, a little bit of craisins again. I do like craisins. And a little bit of mozzarella. As soon as I finish this bag of mozzarella that I have, I'm going to switch to Parmesan because I believe from what I understand, the harder cheeses are better for you. So if you'll notice on the food scale, the food pyramid, cheese is kind of in the middle. You're not supposed to have a lot of it. So I think the Parmesan will be better than nothing for me. And that's pretty much everything that I have on my salad. Now the other things that I make, one of the things that I buy that I keep as one of my snacks or meal, depending on how it turns out, is the little packets that you can get. They're about that big. That are the celery sticks. And I can eat as much of that as I want. So I try not to eat too much. Still try to keep it in moderation, because if you stick it in front of me, I'm going to eat it, as long as it's something I like. So I get the smaller bags to try to keep myself in moderation, although I'm allowed to eat as much of the celery as I want. You can have as much of the non-starchy vegetables as you want to eat. You can eat as much of it as you want to eat on this diet plan. So there is no restriction of that. So the celery sticks, I also make, I found a recipe for tabbouleh from off of MediterraneanDish.com. I can eat as much of that as I want, because the majority of it is the tomatoes and cucumbers. They're climbing this. This right here is steps, and so the cats are up on the steps now meowing. So I make a big batch of that, and then each work day I have 2 cups of that. And I could have it as a meal or a snack or whatever. I also have been making, last weekend, I'm going to make it this weekend, also from MediterraneanDish.com, orange salad. I don't think I can eat as much of that as I want, but I do 2 cups of it, and I've been enjoying that. Another thing that I've enjoyed, and I've noticed it's been becoming popular both in restaurants and just with people in general, is watermelon salad. So this recipe that I got is also from MediterraneanDish.com. She had a lot of recipes that I'm able to adapt for me. So I quite like her recipes. And her family's from Egypt. I had somebody kept trying to say my tabbouleh was not tabbouleh, or tabbouleh was not tabbouleh. And I kept saying, yes, it is. It's tabbouleh. There's different ways to make it. At work, they had Greek week, Greek street, and so they had gyros and that sort of thing, rice bowls and kale salads. And one of these side options that you could get was tabbouleh. But their tabbouleh was mainly, I think it was couscous. It was some kind of bulgur, couscous, or quinoa, or something like that. But there was mainly that, and then they had a little bit of tomatoes in it, and some of the other seasonings. But I know why they did it that way. It's cheaper. It's cheaper than putting a lot of vegetables in it and giving a lot of that away. I found out tzatziki sauce. Didn't know what that was, but I think I've had it before. And when I started reading the recipe, I was like, oh, this kind of sounds familiar. And I made it myself. And the first batch I made was way too garlicky. So I cut the garlic in half. And she even says that in her recipes. You might want to start with half and then work your way up. But I like tzatziki sauce. So I'm actually going to make some of that for this weekend. So I've tried a bunch of different things on there. I've tried her recipe for Greek chicken souvlaki, I think is how it's pronounced. Souvlaki basically just means kebab. So it's supposed to be done with diced chicken, and you're supposed to grill it up and everything. But I like the sauce, the marinade, just for my chicken in general. So rather than having Italian chicken, you can have this Greek souvlaki chicken. And you can actually put your tzatziki sauce on that as well. So I've tried different things on her website, and I like them. I've got some others to try. It's just a matter of, I'm a routine person, so I tend to do the same thing over and over. There's not a lot of fluctuation. And so some of my friends like, oh, I would get sick of eating that all the time. But for me, I usually don't, as long as I mix it up a little bit. So since that stuff I typically do on the weekends, I don't get sick of it because I'm eating other stuff during the week. So I can use my strawberries and grapes, and I've been doing smoothies at home. Right now my smoothies are just Greek yogurt and berries. I get the big bag of frozen berries. My blender sucks. And so one of my goals, I've got 2 money goals right now. I might have a third one because I just went and talked about presentations, and I may have to get my own projector. But my one goal is to get another kitty litter robot thing, and I'm going to do a video on that, on the one that I do have. But that's a lot of money, so every time I have the money for it, something happens, and I no longer have money for it. Like this last time I had money for it, and my car ended up in the shop because the transmission died in the middle of the road. And that was a nightmare in and of itself. And the dealership was great. It was everything up to the dealership. My garage was great. He had to charge me what he had to charge me because that's his business. I was mad at AAA, and I was just mad that people weren't moving fast enough for me because I don't like being without my car. So that, and then the other thing I'm saving up for, I've decided it's going to be worth it, especially with making a lot of this stuff. it's going to be a good investment, is to go ahead and get like the Ninja kitchen system, I think is the name of it. But it's got the pitcher, the food processor, and then the two glasses, like the smoothie glasses. And I think that's going to work the best for me. And so I'm saving up for that right now. I'll probably get that before I get the litter robot. Which is probably a good thing. But the Mediterranean diet is working out well for me. I have been losing weight just doing that. I'm doing a little bit of exercise through my physical therapy, but not a lot of it, not enough that I would lose weight. All the weight I've lost so far have been making switching to the Mediterranean diet. So I'm actually trying to get my coworker to switch to it right now because she's trying to lose weight. She has a hard time saying no, just like I do. And in fact, she has a hard time saying no when I take in goodies to work, like cookies and stuff. She can't help herself, so I have to slap her hands now. In fact, that's one of the things I've got to go make. Other than making my food prep for my stuff, I'm making chocolate chip cookies for my coworkers. It's been a few weeks since I've made them anything. But at any rate, I hope that my perspective on this diet, being a picky eater, being a meat eater, I hope this helps out anybody who's a little bit worried or looking for a good food plan. I was a little intimidated at first, but it's not too bad. The only negative is that it's expensive. And you're having to buy fruits and vegetables and not a lot of pasta, not a lot of mashed potatoes, that sort of thing. I love potatoes, so I'm trying not to get too much of that. And I'll do one of the recipes she has on her website is herb potatoes. So I'll do that every once in a while, but I'm trying not to do a lot because I'll eat potatoes all day long if given a chance. But at any rate, I hope this helps somebody else with perspective. I did find another website, MediterraneanWay.com, I think is what it's called. But I'll put both of those links down in the description. So if you decide you want to give it a try or take a look around, you guys are welcome to. And if you have any comments that you want to add, feel free to. Just keep it nice, please. Yes, I will delete negative comments. That's not what my site is for. And if I have to, I'll just take off commenting, but I don't want to have to do that. But at any rate, please ask any questions you want. I'll answer if I can. And we'll see you next time. Thanks.